Hello everyone and welcome to today's video, which will be an anti-haul. This video I'm actually super duper excited to film. I love watching hauls and anti-hauls because I don't know why, but I just love seeing why people purchase things or don't purchase things and sort of hearing their reasoning on it. So that's what I'll be doing today. But before I get into that, I did want to mention that my next video or the video after that will be a haul on all Black owned beauty products that I have purchased. I do think that everything should come in time for next week's video, but if not, it'll be the following week. And I'd also like to say that everyone watching this, I would love if you could join me in supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. We all need to come together, support our fellow Black family members, our Black friends, our Black neighbors, and just the entire Black community. I was fortunate enough to be able to donate to 2 foundations as well as purchase some Black owned makeup and skincare. I understand not everyone can do that. We're still in a global pandemic where people have lost their jobs. So if you can't make a donation, if you can't purchase from Black owned beauty brands, you can still support them. You can still follow them on social media. You can still comment on their posts. There's so many things you can do. You can go to a protest. You can sign a petition. You can just stand up and become an ally. You can use your voice on your social media platform to educate your followers. It doesn't matter if you have 200 followers or 200,000 followers. If you have 200 followers and there's 15 people that watch your story or see your post, then those are 15 people that you can share with. I also think it's extremely important now to also just have these conversations with family members and friends and just open up the dialogue. I feel like there's been a lot of posts on social media that say, if it makes you uncomfortable, do it. And I agree with that. If it makes you uncomfortable, do it. Talk about it. Open up the dialogue. Educate people. Educate yourself. So on and so forth. So anyways, there's a bunch of ways we can support the movement and come together as a beauty community and just come together as a whole. And I hope that you join me in doing so. Okay, so now for the anti-haul. I think I might want to shift myself this way so I can post the photos here. But first up is the Jeffree Star cremated, I guess, collection. I was thinking more of just like the palette, but I definitely will not be getting any of the collection. The palette itself, I think it's a good idea. I think there's a ton of warm toned smoky palettes on the market. I feel like every single brand, if you do eyeshadow, you have like a warm toned, gold toned, smoky eye. So I kind of get where he was coming from, where everything is cool toned, but I think there was almost like too many shades in the palette. I don't feel like the palette is suited for that many skin tones. I feel like the palette would be great for people who are like very pale or fair like he is, but I couldn't see myself putting like those stark whites and grays on my eyes. And also, listen, his palettes are very expensive. I mean, are they good quality? I don't know. I actually don't own anything from Jeffree Star, and I do feel like you either love or hate him. He's very controversial. I definitely don't love him. I mean, when I say I hate him, there's definitely obviously been stuff and images and videos that have come up about him in the past that he's, apologized for and so on and so forth. But putting that all aside, overall, just looking at the palette, it's just like not my vibe. When I watched his reveal video and he said like it'd be cool for Halloween, I was like, why didn't you release this for Halloween? Like, I feel like you could have put a few bright shades in there, did it like mostly the gray tones, and then it would have been actually a really cool Halloween palette. So I don't know, definitely not for me. I'm definitely also not going to be wearing like a sparkly gray lip gloss ever. So yeah, as a whole, definitely a no. So next up is the Huda Beauty Wishful Clean Genie Makeup Removing Cleansing Balm. Sorry if I'm looking at my phone, I just have like all the details of the products here, obviously. So this, again, does not excite me. What I will say is that I am a cleansing oil and balm lover, and I have tried almost every single like popular one on the market. So I personally love the DHC cleansing oil and the Fourth Ray Beauty cleansing oil. The DHC one is $30 or $28, and the Fourth Ray Beauty, I believe, is $14. The DHC one is what I'm using now, and it's been lasting me months and months and months. This is just another cleansing balm. It's $35. It doesn't excite me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up is the Anastasia Mini Dewy Set Hydrating Setting Spray. So she came out with a pineapple scent and a mango scent, and then she also came out with the mini of the original coconut vanilla. So I actually don't like this setting spray. I did purchase it when it came out, and it did an okay job of like actually setting the makeup, but my issue with it is that it left my face like very sticky, and sometimes setting sprays have a tendency to do that, and you almost have to wait sort of like 2 to 5 minutes for it to like really dry down and just lock everything in. But I felt like with that one, it just didn't dry down. And listen, it wasn't like super sticky or anything like that, but like it was a little tacky, and I just felt it on my face. And obviously no one wants to feel like they can feel their makeup on their face. I feel like everyone as a whole can sort of agree with that. So I'm not really a fan of this. When setting sprays come out and they just like formulate them with a different fragrance, it's not something that I am particularly attracted to. I definitely prefer not to have fragrance in skincare, and setting sprays, obviously that's sort of like hard to come by, and some of my favorite setting sprays do have fragrance, like the Morphe one or the Glow Recipe one has fragrance too. But coming out with the same thing with just a different fragrance, it just doesn't excite me. So a lot of these items that I'm talking about, I've just sort of seen on Trend Moods page or Hot Fire Makeup, or I just went to like the Just Arrived section in Sephora and Ulta. And this is a product that came up in the Just Arrived section at Sephora, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this looks like a really cool product, but it's expensive and it's just gonna be a no. So this is the Marc Jacobs Beauty Brow Wow Duo Brow Powder Pencil and Tinted Gel Plus One Pencil Refill. So basically one side it's the pencil and one side is a tinted brow gel, which I think is a fabulous idea, because obviously usually when you get a dual ended pencil, the other side just has a spoolie. So just having that brow gel is so convenient, and you get one refill of the pencil, which is pretty cool. But overall this is $39, and although I love the idea and I love Marc Jacobs Beauty, I think their products, although they're expensive, they usually are pretty awesome quality. I just can't spend this much money on a brow product. My current brows, I either use the e.l.f. pencil, which is $2, or the Morphe pencil, which is $5, and then I use a Morphe eyebrow gel, which is also $5, or the e.l.f. Wow Brow, which is $3. So I just can't bring myself to spend this much money on a brow product. So next up, I wanted to talk about the new NARS Orgasm collection. They have an Orgasm X cheek palette, mini Orgasm eyeshadow palette, Orgasm Ultimate Set, Orgasm X oil infused lip tint. They just came out like a whole bunch of things. And what I'll say about this is that I've seen this collection every single like spring summer season for the last like what 5 years. Like I don't understand why NARS has to come out with an orgasm set or palette or whatever it is every single year, a different one. Just release one, make it permanent, and don't make it like a seasonal collection. I just don't understand why they do this. And I feel like at first it was sort of exciting because I think the blush itself is what, like $30 or $40. So when you get it in a palette with like their bronzer or highlighter, it's actually a really great deal, and it's kind of exciting. But that was exciting like 5 years ago when they did it for the first time, and now every single year they basically make the same exact cheek and eye palette and just sort of put a tiny bit of a twist on it and release an entire collection every year. And it is so boring and uninteresting to me, and I just don't care about it. I also personally, I like the Orgasm blush. Is it like my holy grail? Probably not. Is it a lot of people's holy grail? Yes, but that doesn't mean you need to come out with a collection every single year for like 10 years in a row. And I feel the same way about Charlotte Tilbury. If I see another Pillow Talk collection, like, yes, Pillow Talk, it's iconic, everyone loves it, it's your bestseller, but how many times do you need to release a new Pillow Talk product? It's just like, does anyone still care? Am I just being like super sensitive about it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think that we need more Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk products and more NARS Orgasm products. Like, please let me know. Okay, so the next product I actually found like through the Ulta app. I was just scrolling, seeing their new arrivals, And I saw this product from the brand The Fox Tan, and it's called Rapid Face Tanner, and it just comes, I'll put a picture right here, it just comes in like a little yellow bottle. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. On the bottle it says The Fox Tan Accelerate. So I'm like, oh, this sounds good. In my head, I'm assuming that it is a self-tanner for your face that I guess gets like really dark really fast, because I use the Isle of Paradise drops, and obviously you have to wear it overnight, or even like after 2 days it really comes to like its full darkness, I guess. I don't even know what to call it. So what I had thought was that this was sort of like a body tanner where you put it on and you're bronzed already and then you just get a little bit darker. That's what I thought. No, that's not what this is. So I read the description. It says apply daily 3 to 5 days prior to UV exposure, and also apply when in the sun or sunbed. Also apply when you're in the sun or sunbed. Okay. I feel like if you know me, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I am a huge supporter of sunscreen. I wear SPF 30 to 50 every single day on my face. It doesn't matter if I'm not leaving my house. It doesn't matter if it's hailing outside in New York, or if there's like a blizzard, or if I'm going like skiing, or if I'm going in an igloo. It does not matter. I am wearing a minimum of SPF 30 on my face. So when I read this and I heard like sunbed, I was like, oh my God. So then I looked at their other products, and basically the line is all of the same thing. It's, you know, they have different products for your body or your face or whatever, and they're all meant for either being in the sun or a sunbed, and I just can't support that at all. Like I can't support you even putting like as a description on your bottles to use this in a sunbed, and I just can't support that at all. I don't support being in a tanning bed. I think it's horrible for you. I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I used to use tanning beds for many years, and it took me a long time to realize how bad they are, and now I am trying to reverse the damage that I did. And when I get questions, or when I think about like, you know, if I was talking to my 15-year-old self, or 18-year-old self, or 21-year-old self, like what I would say to them is start wearing SPF every single day, and do not touch the tanning bed. Get a spray tan. Do not touch the tanning bed. So anyways, when I read this and I saw the brand, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a no for me. Just not something I would ever purchase, and something that I just like would not recommend. But what I do recommend is sunscreen. So next up, it's kind of similar to like my Charlotte Tilbury rant and my NARS rant, but it's the Urban Decay Ultraviolet palette, or the Naked palette, whatever it's called. This is the same way I feel. How many times are you gonna release a Naked palette? Now, the colors are cute. I like the purpley tones. I like that light blue tone, but I feel like for me, Naked palettes are such a hit or miss. And I feel like when they do lighter matte shades, like the light blue, for example, they're like so not pigmented at all, and they become very chalky. Again, I have no idea. I have not swatched this. I have not seen this in person, but basically it's another thing where like, I'm not excited about it. Naked palettes, they're nostalgic for me. You know, I had the Naked 1, 2, and 3, I believe, at some point, or maybe it was just the 1 and the 3. I don't know. But in this day and age, I feel like brands need to sort of like evolve. Like I feel like there's a lot of beauty brands that harp on a bestseller that they had like 5 years ago, and they just sort of continue to do the same thing. But for me, it excites me more when they kind of like revolutionize and do new things. Okay, so that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week on Wednesday for my next video. Hopefully it will be that Black owned beauty haul, but if not, that will be the following week. Bye everyone.